Today's video is going to be all about lack of sleep. As mamas, we all know what that feels like, and I'm going to give you some tips in this video on things we can do to combat that lack of sleep stress that hits really hard sometimes when we have little ones that are up through the night, or sick little ones, or maybe just all the things in motherhood that can cause lack of sleep. So personally, myself, we just got back from a vacation. One of my children picked up something on the vacation, and now it's just kind of passing through my other children. So my little one on my back right here is the one who was up last night. The older ones usually sleep through the night fine when they're sick, but the little ones need mama a bit more. So I am running on lower sleep today. So I thought this would be the perfect time to share some tips that I incorporate when I have those longer nights where I sleep a bit less. So when we are facing lack of sleep, this can downregulate our metabolism, slow down our thyroid, and halt our digestion. So this just puts our hormones kind of feeling like crazy. Not to mention we have no energy because we haven't slept very much to do everyday daily tasks. So I like to incorporate tools that I already have in my home, things that I already know that can help me get through those days where I'm a bit more sleepy, groggy, and tired because I've been up more throughout the night with a little one. Number one, first thing in the morning, I'm going to get outside in the sunlight. Now I try to do this every day. It doesn't happen every single day, but if I have been up throughout the night, this is the number one thing I'm going to do, is get outside and get morning light in my eyes. Sunlight gives us energy. It also helps support our body's ability to handle stress. And we have had lack of sleep, that is a stress on our body. So using the sun to help support that is essential. And it just instantly lifts your mood, lifts your spirit, gives you energy. I like to tell my children we're going outside to get some energy charge from the sun. Now, on this particular morning when I've had lack of sleep, it was a very cloudy morning. The sun has come out a lot throughout the day, so I have been getting outside much more as the day has gone by. But this morning it was very cloudy, but I still got that morning light in my eyes, though we didn't have direct sunlight, and it still just lifts your mood. Going right along with that one, number two, just spending a lot more time in nature. Now this is something our family likes to do all the time, but even more so when I've had lack of sleep. I am walking outside, I am walking barefoot, I am taking things very slow. We take a lot of extra strolls on those sleepy days. In this particular instance, I do have a couple of sick children, and they are on the upside of the sicknesses, but getting them outside in the sun, in the fresh air, also just helps the body to heal. It also helps a tired mama to just be in tune with nature, not be bombarded with the indoor lights and the indoor stressors that can come with being indoors. Just spending extra time outside is vital when you have had lack of sleep and you're kind of in a stress state due to very little sleep. Number three, cutting back on the caffeine, if not cutting it out all day. I've already cut back coffee consumption quite drastically. I've talked about on this channel before not consuming coffee on an empty stomach and making sure you're consuming properly prepared coffee, like nutrient-dense coffee with fat. I personally love the bulletproof coffee. It's butter, coconut oil, hot coffee, and maple syrup. I froth all that together with an immersion blender. It's actually very nutrient dense, but when I don't have the proper nutrient stores and I have higher stress, I don't want the extra caffeine in my body to cause more stress. In a healthy, relaxed, stress-free state, coffee is not really a problem in most people, depending on your overall health. It can be a problematic if you're going through a health journey, but for the most part, coffee does not bother me. But on a day that I am stressed from lack of sleep, it is not going to do me any good. Now I know that sounds counterproductive because my husband, number one, would be like, if I have not had any sleep, I'm gonna have to have coffee. But I've tried that, and it just really puts me in more of a stressed out state when I consume coffee on those really sleep deprived days. So I'd rather just go without it and instead use herbal teas in the place of that, raw milk drinks, homemade fruit juices instead of the caffeine. Again, it sounds very counterproductive not to have caffeine to perk you up, but it's going to push your cortisol even higher in a stressed body. So I just completely avoid it, or only have maybe 1 cup much later in the day, not very first thing in the morning, most definitely after a meal if I have anything. Number four is mineral consumption, including salt. Now this is something I prioritize on the daily, but even more so, I'm gonna make sure to prioritize it on a day that I am suffering from lack of sleep. So this is things like magnesium, shilajit, salt, high quality salt, oyster, beef liver, just like my normal supplements, I'll sort of follow a when my body feels I need it approach for my supplementation. I focus more on a whole foods approach first, and if I feel I need something that day, I just kind of listen to my body to stay in tune with what I feel I need for that day. But on a day I'm sleep deprived, my body is definitely calling for extra nutrition to kind of get me through that day, and just including those first thing in the morning or sometime throughout the day. Throughout the day, I'm adding salt to juices or raw milk yolk drinks or herbal teas. Just a pinch of salt is going to go such a long way, keeping that sodium level up for a stressed body, because when we are suffering from lack of sleep, our body is in a stressed state. Number 5 is increasing my nutrient-dense food calories. So when you are stressed from lack of sleep, your thyroid is suppressed, which can suppress your appetite, so you may not feel as hungry when you are stressed or you're stressed out from lack of sleep. But making sure you're upping your nutrient-dense calories that day is so vital. It's like the number one way to perk you back up is to eat good food that day. So I don't skip on meals that day. I try not to skip any day, but I'm not going to eat just a sandwich for lunch. I'm going to make sure I have a really filling, nutrient-dense meal, ideally full of broth, good healthy animal meat-based lunch with high quality fat, high quality grass-fed meats, bone broth. That just makes me feel so much better on the day that I am suffering from less sleep, and just helps me push through the rest of the day when my energies are a little lower. Also like to prioritize fruit on a day like this. This is not a day I'm gonna consume a lot of starchy breads. I'm not against those in any form, but I want to get my carbs on this kind of day from fruits mostly. And not focus on the breads and the grain products. Again, not against those at all. The natural sugar found in fruits is going to greatly reduce your stress hormones for that day, and higher protein is going to help your liver in detoxification. 6 is making sure I'm not doing any form of like a strenuous workout that day. I've just gotten back into regularly working out in our home gym, very sporadically, but this is not the day I'm going to do an intense weightlifting or bike workout in our home gym. I'm going to go on long walks, keep it very low stress, because though exercise is wonderful for our bodies, it is a stressor on our bodies, and we're already stressed out from lack of sleep. We don't want to add more stress from a workout. So I'm going to go on a long walk with my children, pushing the stroller, wearing my baby, and maybe stretching. The extra movement is going to help with digestion, since digestion is slowed down when we're in a stressed state from lack of sleep. And number 7, I'm going to stay at home as much as possible on a day that I have had very little sleep. So if we had plans, I'm probably going to cancel them if I can. We're going to be home. We're going to do relaxing things. I'm going to just lay around my children, read books, walk around the yard, enjoy our home, and not be out and about on a day like today. Now, I know that's not always possible. There are times when you have certain things you have to do, and I have been there, and it makes it harder when you have very little sleep. Maybe you still work outside of the home, and I have been there too. With my first 2 children, I was very sleep deprived and having to go to a job every day, so I understand if you're in that season and you are still working outside of the home and you're having these very difficult sleep deprived nights. Maybe some of these other tips above will help you, because you have to leave your home. It's just not an option. But if you can have that option, choose to stay at home on these days. Do relaxing things with your children, read books, spend time outside with them, just enjoying the day very slowly, and that just really helps the day go much more smoothly when you are sleep deprived and you are in a stressed state from that lack of sleep. So I hope this was helpful. I wanted to film this video outside because I am trying to be outside as much as possible today when I am facing the stress from lack of sleep. So I hope this was encouraging. If you had a rough night last night and you did not sleep very much, I'm praying that you have a better one tonight with your little ones, or whatever reason you may not have been able to sleep. Praying you have a smoother one tonight. And if you have another one tomorrow, you can implement some of these tips and it will help you get through your day a little smoother, a little easier, with a little more grace and love in your heart for this life, because sleep deprived nights always come. And when you have little ones, they're going to be here, but they don't last forever. I've heard it said before that you're not going to be 60 or 65 years old still getting up multiple times in the night with a little one, a sick little one, or a little one that can't sleep. For the most part, I mean, there are instances where babies go live with grandparents and that could happen, but for the most part, most of us will not be in our 60s, 70s waking up with little ones. So this is not a season that lasts forever. It can be challenging, it can be stressful. It is stressful because it is a stressor on our body not to have sleep, but it's just a season, and it's a season that we can go through with grace and love and support our bodies on those harder days when we are sleep deprived. And hopefully these 7 tips I shared will help you on those more difficult days. Leave us any extra tips that you might have. I'm wishing you a beautiful rest of your day, and I will talk to y'all in my next video.